Oh, good. I think we're all here. So let's meditate. Hmm. So we'll start breathing through the mouth and breathe all the way through the connection at the tip of the tailbone into Mother Earth. We'll just take our attention there because she is the ground we walk on. Everything in our body is taken from Mother Earth. We are of the earth. And so, as the first part of our embracing our spirit, we acknowledge our connection to earth. It's where we are from and where all the parts of us that are connected to earth will return when we leave this body, which is of the earth. So we can say a brief prayer of gratitude to Mother Earth and to our embodiment in this life. Understanding that the purpose of this embodiment is to become whole in our connection to spirit while we are connected to the earth. And that wholeness could be called transcendent awareness, that which is consistent throughout our beingness. So we're not trying to go anywhere or be anything different. We are trying to merge with awareness herself. So that connection is our root system. And from that, we allow our attention to move up to the belly button and just below. Again, breathing through our mouth. Embracing this center of awareness and at the same time allowing it to embrace us. And feeling within it to the stillness between the breaths. Which is our union with awareness herself. Feel free to linger in any energy center that feels incomplete to you. When you're ready, move your attention to the solar plexus. And this is the place where our breath freezes in trauma. That experiences of the wind knocked out of us. So we can use our first breaths to release any trauma that may still linger in this location. Just consciously let it go. Feel it leaving out your fingertips and your feet as you breathe fully through your mouth into this energy center. Again, taking your awareness into the space between the breaths. And allowing completely trusting that source which is revealing itself to us through our attention and intention. And whatever you experience, just trust it and allow it. Our inner understands the right pace of revelation and growth. When you're ready, allow your attention to rise up to your heart center. Feel into your back. The heart center is not just a pinpoint in the center of our chest. Allow it to expand. Again, breathing through our mouth and feeling whatever we feel. All parts are welcome. When you're ready, take your attention to your throat center. Breathe into that center and feel for the stillness. And when you're ready, allow your attention to rise to your third eye. In the center of your head, behind and between your eyebrows. And at a certain point, your energy will just rise up out the top of your head. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, allowing yourself to remain in full contact with your awareness inside. We're so happy to be with you today. Really grateful for your presence in every sense of the word. Mm. Mm. How may we serve this morning? What's it been like out there this week? Hi,
Good morning.
good morning.
Can you talk a little bit about what's going on energetically right now with the moon? Because I've got so much going on in my own personal life, but it feels like the moon's really propelling me forward to, it's almost like now, you can't delay it anymore. I'm finding myself, like we talked about last week, I don't want to say severing relationships, but laying them down gently, kind of like tucking them in and walking away. And I find this happening so much right now with so many people in my life too, that I was just wondering if planetarily these are connected, because I'm feeling it so strongly.
Well, this is such a personal question.
Yes.
I don't think this is really a global a global occurrence. I think it's a personal thing because
Okay.
the moon is very powerful in all of our charts. And this this is a part of a cycle that is ending for you, that this is happening
Okay.
in many relationships at once. So
Hmm.
it feels more like that, more of a
Okay.
personal, transformation, really, that has come of age. And it's so profound for you that it's easy to speak it in one sentence because it's happening all around you. And so that
Yeah.
looks to me like, your moon is really important, but this is a more profound thing about, well, the moon is about mother and being a mother and everything about, your relationship to your mother, your relationship to mothering, you
Mm.
and this is it's happening in a big way in your life.
Yes, it
In
is. Very
that
much so.
Yeah, in that you're becoming more of a transcendent mother than a personal mother. That's
Yes,
what we see, and that's a big shift. And
very
so
much.
you're not putting anything to bed. You you are putting to rest your discomfort with what feels unfinished.
Okay.
That's what we're seeing. Does that make any sense?
It really does. And I think I needed to hear it out loud. You know how I'm one of those people that in order to learn and to really embody something, I have to see it, feel it, taste it in life, and hear it out loud from someone I respect. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Hi, Becky.
Hi. Yes, right back at you.
So just to fill this beautiful space, so you taught me about Arunachala, and I messaged you last week that I was having a really personal experience with that energy, and I just wanted you to share with everybody else what that is about, if it feels like a good time, because there might be a lesson there or a message or something. So that's all.
Well, I know you've never seen the word accept in print, so I'm going to tell you how I was taught to pronounce it. But because I'm not Indian, I don't know if that's correct either.
That's what I'm grabbing on. I'm just guessing.
Yes,
Tell
yes,
me. Yes.
of course. So I've learned it as Arunachala.
Arunachala. Got it.
And
Okay.
and Arunachala is a mountain outside of the town of Tiruvannamalai. Did I say it right? Okay, I got a thumbs up. I'm slow on pronunciation, so I fortunately have a dictionary close by. And so Arunachala is the mountain where Ramana Maharshi went to do his spiritual practice, and he spent several decades in various caves in this mountain where he uh, achieved enlightenment. And he would go into the cave and completely lose himself in that he didn't eat, he didn't, who knows if he slept. He was constantly in meditation. And all kinds of bugs were eating him, and there were snakes, and there was all kinds of things that exist in caves, and he didn't notice at all. And people would bring him food and leave it. And um, decades he did this. He didn't speak to anyone. And then when he came out of the cave and spoke some, but not much, an ashram formed around him. He didn't create an ashram. The ashram was created around him because people came to be in his energetic field. And he always pointed to the mountain, Arunachala, and said, Arunachala is Shiva. Shiva is Shiva's the source. Shiva and Shakti, Shiva doesn't exist without Shakti, and Shakti doesn't exist without Shiva. They are one. And in a way, they're symbolic of the in-breath and the out-breath and everything that life is. So, but he would never refer to himself as anything. He was always, Arunachala is Shiva. And so this mountain is a very sacred site. And a place that I'm bound and determined I will go on pilgrimage to at some point in the not too distant future, because I think my intuition is that walking around that mountain, which is possible, is a sacred experience that that I would like to have before the end of this life. And so that is Arunachala. And probably the most, well, I have known several. One of the lineage holders from Ramana was Papaji, and Papaji made a number of people, empowered a number of people. Did not particularly name a one successor, although Gangaji is someone that he certainly empowered to teach and carry forward his lineage. And there are others that we've been fortunate to meet. And one of the reasons he didn't speak is because the experience is beyond words. And so we reach a point where the communication of that experience becomes beyond what the language can contain. You've seen us do this often. Three-dimensional language cannot contain the experience of ultimate reality, a love so great that it's unimaginable to us. And so we cannot begin to label it. But that is the source of the ground that we walk on. It's the source of everything that is. And that it is unimaginable love. These are the only words that the English language, that any three-dimensional language can begin to point. And to dedicate oneself to awareness of the awareness that is the awareness that created us, which is sort of how we can language it to try to get through the intellect. Is really the mind is becomes the limitation here, because it's beyond imagination. And we are so trained to limit our experience to the mind, to what the mind can describe, when really awareness is far beyond mind. And awareness is our link. And so all we can say is that it's completely revolutionary in any time period to dedicate ourselves to the awareness of awareness itself, because it transcends everything. And there isn't language, but it is the pathless path to love itself, we can say with great confidence. So dedicating ourselves to the awareness of awareness is like it's the fundamental realization that what happens inside is so much more important than what happens outside, that you could spend 2 decades in a cave and still and become that, and then be unable to language it except in your presence. So his life and his connection to the mountain, to the earth, Shiva, is a demonstration of everything we speak in the world. And he did not lift a finger to create an ashram. Every day he walked around the mountain. That was his devotion. And he was completely celibate, but it was not a renunciation of anything. He was totally fulfilled in himself with every breath, his entire life. He never gave up anything. He received everything in a way. Does that make sense? Another way of saying it is that he's a demonstration of the fact that what is available to a human being is so far beyond any pleasure that we could receive in this world that it's unspeakable, the unspeakable treasure of bliss. And that's a word that has no meaning, because a lot of our meaning comes from experience. So that's Arunachala Ramana Maharshi. And these beings that come, that have known oneness, wholeness, and we'll also say that his first realization was when his father died, Ramana. And he was 14 years old, Andrew. Yeah, he stood in front of a mirror. And tell me the exact question, because I often get it wrong.
Oh, she was just asking about our natural language.
Right, but what did he say when he stood in front of the mirror? Was it who am I, or who am I? What am I? Who am I? He just asked, who am I? Over and over. His father had just died. And he just kept looking in the mirror, asking, who am I? And he fell down and had a death and rebirth experience. And then the story is that, you know, a few days or weeks later, his mother gave him money to buy all his school books to go to school. And he went and got on a train. He was told to get on a train, and he went to Tiruvannamalai and was at the mountain. That's what he did.
The word that you just said that really sticks with me is devotion. That aspect of
Mm-hmm.
purifying. We do all these things to get through this life, and devotion is an aspect of it. And that's been really clear that it's a really big piece of the pie for me.
Yeah, we agree. And the big thing is, you know, what we are devoted to, who we are devoted to, where we decide to spend our devotion is it's a kind of currency that we get to spend however we want. And Rebecca's in shock that we used that word. So but it's the truth. It is our energy. And we get to choose how we use our intention, energy, and devotion. These words are all important. And it's our choices in this way that open us to receive that which is available in terms of guidance, toward our highest, best interest that is in alignment with the whole. Because what we just said is simple, we think we understand it. But it's something worth referring to over and over as we go through our day. What does it really mean to be aligned in ourselves and with our highest? And through our devotion to awareness itself, we learn from the inside out. Most of what we learn in terms of knowledge and information comes from the outside, and then we memorize it, or from external experience that we have learned something about life. But this is different. It's not of the mind. At the same time, it's not separate. We hope that's helpful. Mhm. Mm. So appreciate the question. Mm. Yes, yes.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
That was really helpful to me as far as uh, giving yourself away or devoting yourself basically to friends and family. And and I believe I've had to learn the lesson of bypassing myself somewhat here and and coming kind of full circle around back to me. And in a way, uh, making more time for others than has been for myself. So just this whole topic of the devotion and it just like a bell was rung. It just hit me. I've had to learn to go outside and then now come into myself. It makes just wonderful sense. Personally, in what
Yes.
I've been through.
Well, these things don't have to be exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible to do both. It's very much in, Western Christianity to give our lives, especially as
Yeah.
women, in service to family.
Yes.
And that's not wrong. It's all in how we do it, and
Mm-hmm.
and interestingly, our expectation and the reasons why we are doing it. If we
Yes.
do it as part of our own self-discovery,
Mm-hmm.
and there's definitely from the perspective of doing no harm and serving,
Mm-hmm.
there's all kinds of good.
Yeah.
And so that's certainly a path that, when in doubt, nobody's going to get hurt from it, and everybody's going to benefit in some way or another, including you,
Mhm.
even though it does take your attention, feels like it takes your attention from your own work.
Mhm.
Whether it actually does or not, that may be your own work, so that you're clearing out that space, so that because your guilt for doing otherwise would be so great, you wouldn't be able to get there.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
well,
it's
I
very
see
complicated.
I see this as a gift.
Yes,
No matter,
exactly.
no matter how
Yes.
it
At this
looks.
stage, it's a perfect, it's freedom.
Welcome home.
Yes, it's complete freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That was really great.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. We see
Yeah.
it. We see it. Mm. Yeah, I think we're having the same conversation with everybody this morning, that there is a kind of uh, completion of a cycle that's happening. And it's interesting because the moon is the fastest planet in the sky. You know, there's a different house of the moon every single day, and it goes through one of the 12 houses of the zodiac every 3 days. So the moon moves quickly. So it's interesting that that would be heightening our realization of the end of a different cycle. Let's see. We see exactly what it is right now. And it's different for each one of us. You know, it's happening in a slightly different arena for each of us. It's not we're not seeing, say that. Through Rebecca's still unfinished education astrologically, we're not seeing a bigger pattern than that at the moment. Hmm. How may we serve? Hmm. Anything, Andrew?
Devotion itself can be a less of an unbelievable thing, like the moon, maybe. You know, it's not a question of fickleness, it's just that, you know, the outer form that you're devoted to changes.
Is there a question in there?
Yes, does it change?
Oh. Well, so the question is, does devotion change? Seems like the outer form changes. That's the observation, is that the outer form changes, and so maybe brings in a bigger question: what is devotion? And we would say that devotion is where you put your attention. Truly. And that, in a way, assumes that we have control over our attention. And we all know from experience by now that we have limited control over our attention. Even in a given hour, a period when we're awake, our attention can be a billion places. And so, in a way, it's very harsh to say where we put our attention is where our devotion is. Because we can say with certainty that spending time in meditation, expressing devotion to knowing to union, our devotion to union, the union with that which is already present, which we are already in union with and unaware of, So our devotion is to the union with our awareness. And cultivating that as the go-to in our inner life in times of need, stress. That with our breath we connect to the highest, finest within us. And become servants to that. Which may have nothing to do with action. We are each unique individuals. In our particular culture, it's not possible or desirable to go to a cave in the mountains. Nobody would feed us. Nobody would take care of us. It would be impossible to make that choice. It just isn't part of the cultural awareness that is a choice. So, it would be foolish. It would be foolish. We would die in 2 weeks. And the other thing is we have no context for that in our reality. It doesn't make sense to us. We lost track of the question, Andrew.
Just basically what the devotion is, the object of devotion changes, and is it really just the commitment to that which doesn't change, which through something, seeing that in everything,
That's very beautifully spoken. Andrew's saying, what is devotion really? Is it devotion to that which doesn't change? And of course that's true. And we can say that which doesn't change is discoverable in meditation. That's why we begin every meeting with you and end every meeting with you, because that devotion is to the inner, to discovery of our inner connectedness to that which doesn't change. which sounds like gobbledygook because it's not the orientation of the reality that has been described to us by our matrix of belief. And our entire perspective of every system in the multiverse is based on linear thinking. And reality, what it is we are devoted to, and that love that we are is multi-dimensional beyond our thought process. And only able to be experienced through our intuition. So we feel you as we speak becoming more and more permeable, which is how this field of information that Anasa is becomes available. And you feel that in this field, you can still, you have a body, but it's not relevant. And as you feel into the chakra system, it is becoming more and more of a living experience. And so cultivating the awareness of this energetic system is part of our self-discovery with a capital S. Joy is important in this field as part of devotion, because joy is what allows human beings to become more permeable. I will say it, to love itself. And we will say quite honestly and openly that guilt and self-judgment have no place in this field of awareness. They create enormous limitation that's unnecessary. How may we serve? So we're going to say a little bit about pain. We all have it. And it's okay. It's okay to just be in pain. Understanding that it passes too. It's not forever. Nothing is forever. Every feeling that we have in our life, when it comes, it feels like forever. We experience bliss and we're like, oh, finally, we're there. And for that moment, we are. We experience disappointment. Oh my God, failure again. Until it becomes almost a joke. not even almost, it is. We're always going to be disappointed. Except when we're not. We don't even notice when we're not because we're not disappointed, so we don't feel it. And everything feels like forever. So there is a way in which we dramatize our failure, our disappointment, our, oh, I'm here again in pain, to be the end of our experience because it feels so present and it's been here so many times. And to just, okay, I'm in pain. However long you want to be here, fine. And suddenly we'll be in something else. It is pain is a part of every human being's experience. And some of us were just born into lots of it. It gives us more cause for celebration when we're not in it. And the possibility of just experiencing it as pain and letting it be. And it's one of our greatest teachers. Mhm. And every single person on this call has the wisdom to keep coming back, to over and over examine what's real, and the willingness to live in uncertainty. As we discover, and something happens from our association. That is bringing us more joy all the time. And that's the whole point. It is through joy that our union becomes available. But it's through pain that our joy becomes available. And at some point, we will realize that it's all the same. That that's what union is. That everything and its opposite is the same energy. Axis. Axis. Turn the axis. Love and hate. Point in the middle. So we're very close to time. Let's sit just for a minute and be together. Welcoming all of it in this moment. All parts are welcome. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We're delighted. Bye for now.